everybody. All right. This is the first time in a long time that we have streamed on the YouTube. So for those of you who are subscribers on YouTube and you're catching us on the stream, welcome. I will be combing through the comments on both Facebook and YouTube, and we'll just kind of roll from there. We got some storms rolling through again. How about that, y'all? They're a little bit ahead of schedule as compared to yesterday. We're not seeing anything severe out there, but it is a little bit on the gusty side. I'm going to actually switch. There we go. We're going to go back to that. And here in just a second, got to fuel up with the caffeine. We'll start talking a couple of specific spots. This stream, not going to be as long as what we saw yesterday because we've got this digital space that we're actually using for some other stuff, but we did want to hop on and let you know about these storms that are starting to bubble up again. There's some wind moving through Robertson and Milam County that we wanted to let you know about as well. So we will, of course, dive right into that too. How's everybody doing out there this afternoon? Let me know where you are. If you have any questions about the weather this afternoon, of course. But as we get closer to Labor Day weekend, which, by the way, in that 10-day forecast, we've got some lower numbers for temperatures for next week. It's not anything crazy, but there's absolutely reason to say, oh, okay, we'll take that. Howdy, Sarah, checking in from Somerville. It's going to be a minute for Somerville, but it will probably be earlier than what you saw yesterday. So happy to report that. In fact, Somerville might have been skipped out completely yesterday. I covered a lot of spots yesterday. You'll have to forgive me. So Sarah, we'll put that in motion here for you in just a second, and we'll take a look specifically at Somerville for you. Okay, so a couple of things we're looking at just as now that we've started the stream. We got quite a few folks in here now. These storms are taking their sweet time developing. There's a gust front that is out ahead of these storms that hopefully will reduce that severe weather threat, especially with any activity that pops up behind it. But there's still a mild concern that along that gust front you can find some strong winds, and it is right about to Highway 79 in Milam and Robertson County. So let's see here. Of course, Sarah. So the biggest storms right now are right on the Madison, Houston, Trinity County line. And that's moving southwest. So I'm going to put this back in motion for you. And like I mentioned, this stream's not going to last quite as long as it did yesterday. But did want to hop on and tell you that some of these storms are moving into the area. And coverage we expect to largely be about the same as what we saw yesterday, if not a little bit better. A little more daytime heating, and I could see this kind of coalescing into more of an organized little system as it pushes to the south. So let me These are also moving a little bit quicker than they were yesterday, where they're moving at about 20 miles per hour yesterday. I'm clocking these more at about 40. And so what we're going to do here is we will change that to about 40 miles per hour on our tool that allows us to do a little storm track along. And this is kind of the arrival of the gust front slash when you could see some showers and storms out there too. All right, so that's a look at what we can expect. General times for when these storms could arrive, and if some of these times look pretty similar, this is about what we were looking at yesterday, if not a little bit earlier, because these storms are moving faster. But we started this stream at about the same time yesterday. Yeah, thereabouts, or a little bit quicker, and again, these have not really organized into much yet. So if your location's on here, it's not a guarantee that you're going to get rain, but that's about when I would expect it if you're going to, right? So hopefully that is helpful for your afternoon plans. We told you yesterday that probably one more time at least you're going to get rained on there at the school pickup, and that's what the biggest concern has been, is because we knew it would be about that 2 to 4 o'clock time where rain and storms are going to be most likely. So this is what we're expecting through the remainder of the afternoon. I think this looks pretty good. And, starting to get into some of our southern counties by about 5 o'clock. The thing is, though, just because it means they get there at that time doesn't mean they're done. So we turn the sensitivity up a little bit, and then we'll zoom back in to our corner of the state. You can kind of see what's left of this system, but you can see that it's starting to reinvigorate itself as well, especially across our eastern counties. Nothing out there severe right now. There was a special weather statement or a significant weather advisory for that storm closer to Temple, but thus far the rest of us are not looking at anything major. So, like I mentioned, severe weather is not a huge concern for me right now. We are still outlined in this big general marginal risk for severe weather, and that is primarily the National Weather Service, or rather the Storm Prediction Center, all a part of NOAA, saying, hey, we think that there's a potential that we see a couple of erratic severe wind gusts. And I think it's certainly a possibility because you know what, y'all? It's very hot out there, and when you start to see kind of bigger storms push out some colder, denser air, and you get that air mass clash, oftentimes you can get some strong winds to go along with it. So that's our quote-unquote concern as far as the afternoon is concerned. But overall, we're not super worried about it. So while we're here, and again, we'll wrap up the stream here in a couple minutes, but I will show you future radar and just kind of what we're looking at for the rest of the afternoon and into the evening. And of course, we will have regular updates, although not in a live form, here on Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're streaming us right now. So let me show you kind of future radar, which it initialized okay, but I think this is kind of a good general idea of, like, as we go through the late afternoon into the early evening, we see this activity kind of blossom and then dissipate pretty quickly. Now, could we see some more activity into tomorrow morning, very similar to what we saw on Tuesday? Yes, I think that is absolutely a possibility. That's one of the reasons why we just continued that first alert weather day right on into Thursday, is just for the potential for storms on either side of the commute, right? It's this upper level pattern that we're in that's kind of lending itself to sparking up some more storms, not just in the afternoon. Although we were very quiet out there earlier today, I think Thursday could start with some rumbles. So looking at your 10-day forecast, that highlighted red there is another first alert weather day. Not so much for a severe weather concern, but just problems on the morning and potentially the afternoon drive too. Still expecting about 50% coverage. And then it's possible we still see a couple of storms out there in the afternoon on Friday, but I don't think it's as much of a concern in a widespread fashion. So that's why you don't see that highlighted red. And then right now, it looks like the weekend's going to be pretty dry. We might very briefly tap into a north wind next week and get some slightly cooler air. But as you can see there, it really doesn't look all that different, does it? I don't think we're going to get a whole lot cooler next week. Now, Northeast Texas could tap into some cooler air towards the end of this month. I suppose it is possible that we do too. I just don't really see it happening right now. So we'll keep an eye on that for you. We will let you know if that changes. All right, gang. We'll wrap it up with that. Again, if you're just tuning into the stream, there are some scattered thunderstorms moving through the area as we speak. We'll keep an eye on those over the course of the afternoon, really. And again, it's mainly heavy rain, cloud ground lightning, but the potential for some strong winds is there. We're not seeing that right now, but absolutely something that we'll keep you posted on. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us for a little bit this afternoon. We will talk to you soon.